Hey YouTube, it's James from the Wyvern Watch here, and welcome to another deck update video. I did profile my Witchcrafters only 3 months ago actually, in June, but since then there has been the release of a new card which I've integrated into the deck. Obviously had to make a few adjustments because of it, and thought I'd just throw out my list, like I say, as a quick update. Not huge amounts of change from the last profile, but for those that are sort of watching the video for the first time, Witchcrafters, I've had the sort of core quite for a long time, but never really sort of put the deck together. Last time, there's another channel called Sacred Cards, which I will put a link to in the description. Go and see his channel because he's got some cracking profiles on there, and I do wish him well because he's not posted for a little while now, but the Witchcrafter lists are really strong, and I've got a couple of ideas for my deck from his channel, so thank you again once to him. But like I said, just a bit of an update this time around, so I won't badger on too long about it, but we are still playing 3 schemata. I'll just rattle through the effects dead quick. Like I say, I'll try not to go on too long about it. But during the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, then discard one spell, special summon one Witchcrafter monster from your deck, except schemata. You can banish this card from the graveyard and send one Witchcrafter card from your deck to the graveyard, which is really strong because obviously we want the spells recurring themselves, so that's all good. So yeah, schemata, pretty much the sort of heart and soul, which there normally is in most sort of archetypes, isn't there really? We've also got 3 Jenny, which, you know, this is one of the things that sort of attracted me to Witchcrafters because the artwork's absolutely fantastic. Bit of artwork appreciation going on here. Like I say, it's an ultra rare, but honestly, it's a lovely ultra rare, this one. The picture really shines behind the the image. Sorry, the background sort of really shines behind the foreground there. That's what I was sort of trying to get at. But Jenny, of course, has got the same first effect as schemata, and then you can banish this card from and a Witchcrafter spell from your graveyard. This effect becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. So you just get another go at one of your spells, basically, but a really cool effect. Then, 2 Pittori. So get those central, there we go. Again, same effect, but then you can banish this card from the graveyard, draw 1 card, and then send 1 Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you have none, banish your entire hand. You've got to pick your moment on when to activate that, but we're playing plenty of Witchcrafter cards in here. It's a proper pure list, guys, so there's not going to be loads of hand traps in there. You know, you're not going to find loads of sort of meta-relevant cards. That's not the point to this deck. It's just a pure Witchcrafter deck. Go and have fun with it. Work out how the deck works. Make it work for you, really, and adjust your list accordingly. Again, Pottery has the same effect again, but if you have no cards in your hand, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 Witchcrafter card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Again, a nice little effect, because obviously you can go and set all your spells anyway, can't you? And if you know that that's in your graveyard, you can make use of it that way. We're also running a full lineup of the higher level ones as well. So that's all 4 of them. In most of my list, guys, I generally run all the names, whether it's a 1, a 2 or a 3 of. Not all the time, obviously. Some archetypes have a lot of support and it's not really feasible to run all of them, but I have tried to do that with Witchcrafters. But yeah, 1 at a time. So Golem Aruru. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster you control or targets it for an attack quick effect, I can target 1 card your opponent controls or a Witchcrafter spell in your graveyard and special summon this card from your hand, and if I do, return the targeted card to the hand. It's an excellent effect and actually can be quite impactful. Only once per turn, and during once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, return this card to the hand. And then Madame Veer. So during damage calculation, if your spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can reveal any number of spells with different names in your hand. And if you do, your battling monster gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card revealed until the end of the turn. And then quick effect, you can discard one spell, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. Really cracking effect that, guys. Obviously can help break boards as well. Witchcrafter Hane, so your opponent cannot target other spellcaster monsters you control with card effects. Quick effects, you can discard one spell, then target one face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. Nice and easy pop. And then quick effect, you can discard one spell, special summon one Witchcrafter monster from your hand, except Witchcrafter Edel. You can tribute this card, then target one spellcaster monster in your graveyard, except Edel, and special summon it. That obviously just means that you can sort of switch them around a little bit late game, perhaps. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to make sure I'm running all 4 of the high level ones. And then a few support cards, guys, nothing too heavy. I've got 2 Effect Veiler. We know what those do. They're in the Platinum Rare from Rare to Collection number 1. And I've also got 1 Blazing Cartesia, the Virtuous, mainly because it's the only deck I actually played this in. This is one of the, I'm forgetting the name of the set, to be honest, it's gone completely. But it's one of the OG first edition secret rares from the set. But absolutely beautiful artwork. I hate branded decks or the like, really. It really isn't my sort of thing, that, but the whole sort of Fallen of Albaz thing is not for me. But the Ecclesia stuff, on the other hand, is much more like my style. But I really wanted to play that one because it just works well in this particular deck as well and gives us another option. I've got nothing to search it though, so it's just if it comes up sort of thing. Okay, so that's the main deck. The monsters from the main deck. We're moving on to spells now. So of course we're still running the 3 Holiday. Holiday is target one Witchcrafter monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then during your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use the effect of Holiday each effect one per turn, on only once that turn. So the target one Witchcrafter monster in your graveyard and special summon it is a great effect. But if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. Is a common effect with most of the Witchcrafter spells, not all of them though. I'm also playing 3 Witchcrafter Creation. So its regular effect is add 1 Witchcrafter monster from deck to hand. And then of course during the end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card's in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. It's the rotor for the deck, but of course, like I say, it gives you the opportunity to keep putting it in your hand and obviously keep going for those monsters that you need. Also running 3 Witchcrafter Confusion Confession. Let's just center those a little bit. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a Witchcrafter monster. And then during the end phase, blah blah blah, you get the idea with the during the end phase bit. So that obviously gives us access to the boss monster, I should say. But that's coming up shortly. We've got 2 Witchcrafter Unveiling. Absolutely beautiful artwork again. There's a Ruru in the background there. And Madame Veer as well. Special summon 1 Witchcrafter monster from your hand, and if you do, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of a spellcaster monster effects for the rest of the turn. And then again, it gets the end phase effect. And then a few one-offs, because like I say, I just wanted to make sure I'm running all of them. I've got 1 Collaboration, 1 Draping, 1 By Street, and 1 Scroll. Like I say, some of these don't have that effect, so let's just double check. Target 1 for Collaboration then. Target 1 Witchcrafter monster you control. It can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. Also, if it attacks this turn, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. and then during the end phase you get the effect on there. So draping, target spells and traps your opponent controls up to the number of Witchcrafter monsters you control and return those targets to the hand. So that's a quick effect, of course, bit of a giant Trunade effect. And then of course it does have the during the end phase effect. And then Buy Street, the first time a Witchcrafter monster you control would be destroyed by each turn by battle or card effect, it is not destroyed. You can use each of the following effects of Buy Street once per turn and only once that turn. If a Witchcrafter monster you control would discard to activate an effect, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard instead. And then during your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, it still does have that effect as well. And then scroll once per turn. I was wrong. I've just seen now that end phase effect is actually on all of them. So once per turn, when your spellcaster monster destroys a monster by battle, you can draw one card. And you can only use each of the following effects of scroll once per turn. And if a Witchcrafter monster you control would discard to activate an effect, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard instead, which of course is the same as Buy Street. And then of course you got the end effect as well. So yeah, some really interesting cards there. And like I say, I just wanted to run a minimum of the one each. Okay, so support cards. I do have the 3 Sacred Village. Obviously we're running a pure spellcaster deck, and if you control a spell, well, you know what Secret Village does, I'm not going to go through that, but obviously it can be a bit of a devastating field spell for some decks that you come across. And now this is sort of the new spell for the deck. First of all, artwork appreciation time. 1 second. Apologies for that, my dog's going balmy again. So we were just talking about the artwork on this card. If you've seen my Magistus deck profile very recently, I've introduced this card into that deck as well. But this card is always treated as a Magistus or a Witchcrafter card. Activate one of these effects, but you can only use the effect of once per turn. If you control a Magistus or a Witchcrafter monster, send one spellcaster monster or one spell from your deck to the graveyard, which of course gives you access to that spell for Witchcrafters, of course, gives you access to that spell in the end phase. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, special summon one Magistus or Witchcrafter monster from your hand or deck. It gives you access to the full monster lineup because it's obviously special summoning from the deck as well. It's a cracking card and absolutely a 3 of. So it's been introduced into the deck. Okay, and then I've got a couple of support spells. So there's one reasoning because obviously all the Witchcrafters are different levels. One Magicalized Fusion because we are indeed running a pure spellcaster deck first of all, but we do have the Quintet Magician in the extra deck. And just the 2 traps, which is the same as before, I do believe. So you can target one of your spellcaster monsters as it is banished or in your graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. And if you do, add one Witchcrafter spell from your deck to your hand. And if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card, then target any number of your banished Witchcrafter spells with different names and add them to your hand. So that's Patronus. And then of course, you've got Masterpiece as well. So if you control a Witchcrafter monster, target one spell in either graveyard and add one card with the same name from your deck to your hand. And then during either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and any number of spells from your graveyard to special summon Witchcrafter monster from your deck whose low levels equals the number of spells banished to activate this effect. Excuse me. Obviously just a one of on those because they're quite, they're useful, but you don't need more than one of them. And again, they're very much searchable anyway, so no, not a massive deal. Now, with the extra deck, guys, it's not a massive, there's only a few sort of musts in here. But of course, we are playing the 3. I'll put them over here and then we'll try and get everything on. But Witchcrafter Vice Madame. So obviously it's one Witchcrafter monster and one Spellcaster monster. And then when a spell card or effect or non-fusion spellcaster monster effect is activated, quick effect, you can activate one of these effects, you can only use each effect once per yeah, that's fine. Destroy one card on the field is the first one. Special summon one level 6 or lower Witchcrafter monster from your hand or deck, and then add one Witchcrafter spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So cracking effects on there, really, really strong card. Quintet Magician, of course, is the only other fusion monster. We're only doing the 2 Xyz monsters as well, so one Slacker and one Downard, just so I've got a spellcaster theme going on. I've only got the one Synchro monster as well. Let me just see if I can tuck those on there. If I just put that under there, just about get them on. Enlightenment Paladin, like I say, it's not something that's going to come up all the time. I just found it as a bit of an option, pulled it out of my collection really, that's all that was. And then of course we've got some links to round off. So again, you can mix and match as much as you want on these, but I've got one Clara and Rushka, one Relinquished Anima, one Artemis, one Proxy F Magician, one Nightmare Phoenix, one Akashic, one Selene, and one Underworld Goddess. Those are the ones I've chosen. Like I say, they might not be the best options, but they're the ones I've got in there at the moment. But you know, if you are thinking of building Witchcrafters, then feel free to obviously mix and match as much or as little as you wish. Guys, that's the end of my deck profile for now. Like I say, just a little update this time around. If you have any comments, feel free to post below. As usual, I answer all of them, if I can, that is. But yeah, if you've got any further comments about what I should or shouldn't be adding or taking away, feel free to post below. And thank you once again for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next one.